Step back into the spotlight and relive the magic of Fame, the iconic TV series that defined a generation of talent, music, and dreams. From 1982 to 1987, these young stars danced, sang, and acted their way into the hearts of millions. But where are they now, over 40 years later? In this special look back, we reveal how the cast members have changed, what they've been up to, and how their lives and careers have evolved in 2025. Some have stayed in the limelight, others have taken surprising new paths, and a few stories may just amaze you. Don't miss this nostalgic journey through time. Carlo Imparato, who portrayed Danny Amatolo in Fame, was just 19 years old in 1982 when he brought to life the fast-talking, street-smart student with a heart of gold. Though his character was beloved, Imparato struggled to shed the role's shadow. After the series ended, he faced difficulty finding substantial acting work and turned briefly to off-Broadway productions and teaching drama at local theaters. He married stage manager Linda Vasquez in 1991, but the marriage dissolved in 1999 due to financial hardship and Carlo's long-term battle with depression. They had one daughter, Gianna, who now lives in Italy. Imparato's career never truly recovered, and he faced bankruptcy in 2004. He lost his home in Burbank in 2006 and has since lived modestly, occasionally appearing at fan conventions. Struggling with health issues and estranged from many in his family, he now lives in a rented apartment in Studio City. At 62, he is semi-retired, with an estimated net worth of $30,000. Gene Anthony Ray, who played Leroy Johnson, was 20 in 1982 and instantly captured hearts as the fiercely talented and rebellious dancer. But behind the scenes, Ray battled a chaotic personal life. Coming from a troubled home, he was expelled from the High School of Performing Arts and later struggled with addiction. After Fame, his promising career was derailed by substance abuse, multiple arrests, and periods of homelessness. He never married but had one son, Darren, whom he rarely saw due to legal battles and instability. Ray contracted HIV in the late 1990s and lived in poverty during his final years. He passed away from complications related to a stroke on November 14, 2003, at age 41, in a New York hospital. At the time of his death, he was living in government-assisted housing. His estate was valued at less than $5,000, and his funeral was funded by donations from former co-stars and fans. His story remains one of immense talent lost too soon to tragedy. Debbie Allen, who portrayed Lydia Grant, the fiery and inspiring dance instructor in Fame, was 32 years old in 1982. Her iconic line, "Fame costs, and right here is where you start paying, in sweat," became a symbol of her tough love approach. Though Allen rose to prominence and built an impressive resume as a choreographer, director, and actress, her personal life was riddled with turmoil. She married former NBA player Norm Nixon in 1984, and though they appeared to be a power couple, their relationship was strained by long separations and Allen's intense work schedule. They had two children, Vivian and Norman Jr., both of whom struggled with the pressure of their parents' fame. Allen also endured the heartbreak of a miscarriage in 1986, which she rarely speaks of. Despite her professional accomplishments, Allen battled with ageism in Hollywood, leading to long gaps in directing offers in her 50s. Now 75, she continues to teach dance and direct, but lives quietly after a heart scare in 2021. Her current net worth is estimated at $3 million, largely tied up in her dance academy and real estate. She has become increasingly private, focusing on wellness and mentoring young dancers while reflecting on a life of both artistic triumph and personal struggle. Albert Haig, who played the stern but deeply caring music teacher Mr. Swarovski, was 62 years old in 1982 and already a respected composer before Fame. His portrayal added gravitas and warmth to the series. However, Haig's later years were marked by isolation and lingering guilt over the choices he made during his early life, including his secretive escape from Nazi Germany as a youth. Though married to singer Renee Orant since 1951, The marriage was tested repeatedly by his mood swings and lifelong struggle with untreated PTSD. They had 2 children, one of whom, Jean, died tragically in a car accident in 1994, sending Haig into a deep depression. He became increasingly reclusive in the years before his death, turning away from composing and shunning public appearances. He passed away from cancer on November 12, 2001, at the age of 81, in Marina del Rey, California. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at approximately $500,000, including royalties from his earlier musical work. Despite his quiet end, many still remember him for the wisdom he brought to the screen and the students he mentored behind it. And Nelson, who portrayed Mrs. Berg, the warm, endearing school secretary in Fame, was 68 years old in 1982. Known for her nurturing presence and gentle humor, she brought a comforting stability to the otherwise intense atmosphere of the performing arts school. Off-screen, however, Nelson's life was far from serene. She was married briefly in the 1940s to stage actor Harold Drexler, but the union ended in divorce after 5 years due to his infidelity. They had one son, Matthew, who became estranged from her after years of tension over her demanding work life and refusal to retire. Despite her success in television and stage, Nelson lived modestly, often taking guest roles into her 70s to support herself financially. She battled loneliness in her later years, particularly after a stroke in 1989 that left her partially paralyzed. Her final years were spent in a small apartment in Manhattan, where she was cared for by a rotating group of aides. She passed away on June 2, 1992, at the age of 78 due to complications from a second stroke. Her estate was estimated at only $80,000, a mix of residuals and modest savings. While her career brought her recognition, her personal life was marked by estrangement, silence, and solitude. Carol Mayo Jenkins, who played the disciplined yet compassionate English teacher Elizabeth Sherwood, was 44 years old in 1982. Her character was known for intellectual rigor and emotional depth, often guiding students through more than just grammar. Jenkins herself mirrored this intelligence in real life, yet she struggled for years with severe anxiety and a lack of fulfillment in her career after Fame ended. She married theater director Paul Granger in 1967, and while their shared love for the stage kept them connected early on, their marriage grew cold after the death of their only daughter, Sarah, from leukemia in 1989. Carol never recovered from the loss, withdrawing from film and television work entirely throughout the 1990s. She returned to the stage in her hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee, where she currently lives at the age of 85. Despite facing significant financial hardship in the 2000s, she began teaching acting at the University of Tennessee, which stabilized her income. Her current net worth is estimated at $150,000. Jenkins lives a quiet life, surrounded by books and the occasional student visit, holding tightly to memories of a daughter lost and a spotlight that once shone so brightly on her path. Bill Huffsey, who portrayed the charismatic Christopher Donlin, a magnetic singer and dancer introduced in the later seasons of Fame, was 25 years old in 1983. His character's charm and vocal talent quickly made him a fan favorite. Off-screen, however, Huffsey faced the harsh reality of typecasting and declining opportunities. After Fame, his career faltered, with only sporadic appearances in soap operas and music gigs that never led to mainstream success. He married talent agent Michelle Rayner in 1992, but their marriage dissolved in 2001 amid public disputes over infidelity and financial stress. They had 2 children, Cameron and Elise, both of whom distanced themselves from the entertainment world and their father. Bill's struggles with depression and a brief stint in rehab in the mid-2000s for alcohol dependency drew media attention. Today at 65, Huffsey continues to perform occasionally at nostalgic events and 80s conventions, but he lives modestly in a rented home outside Los Angeles. His current estimated net worth is around $60,000, much of it from residuals and small performances. Despite the glitz of his early fame, Huffsey remains a cautionary tale of a talent caught in the unforgiving tides of the entertainment industry. Valerie Landsberg, who brought life to the fiery and determined Doris Schwartz, was 24 years old in 1982. Known for her outspoken, witty, and dramatic on-screen presence, Doris became one of the series' most relatable and emotionally layered characters. Valerie's own journey mirrored her character's intensity. After Fame, she directed several independent films but struggled to gain traction in Hollywood. She married writer and composer Martin Pope in 1985, and they had 3 children, Jonah, Olivia, and Tess. However, the marriage ended bitterly in 2004 after years of financial instability and Valerie's growing disillusionment with the industry. She suffered a nervous breakdown in 2007, leading to a year-long hiatus from work and therapy for chronic anxiety and burnout. Now 65, Landsberg teaches screenwriting at a community college in Oregon, living in near obscurity. Her net worth is estimated at around $45,000. Once a promising voice of a generation, she now spends her days writing unpublished memoirs, raising her granddaughter, and reflecting on the pressures of fame that stole more than it gave. Jessie Borrego, who portrayed Jessie V. Velasquez, a fiercely ambitious and deeply passionate student, was 22 years old when he joined Fame in 1984. His character brought a powerful sense of cultural identity and drive to the series. After Fame, Jessie sought to elevate Latino representation in film and TV but struggled against industry stereotyping. He appeared in a handful of acclaimed indie films but never found consistent leading roles. He married dancer and choreographer Rosalinda Martinez in 1989, and they had one son, Diego, who later became estranged from his father due to Jessie's years-long obsession with reviving his stalled career. The couple divorced in 2001 after a painful series of financial and emotional hardships. Jessie battled with alcohol addiction during the early 2000s and was arrested in 2005 for a DUI, which further tarnished his career. At 63, he still acts and produces low-budget theater in San Antonio, living in a small apartment above a converted community arts center. His estimated net worth is around $70,000. Though the passion that defined his early work remains, his life has been one of resilience through unfulfilled artistic promise and personal isolation. Erica Gimple, who played the vibrant and multi-talented Coco Hernandez, was just 18 years old when she took on the role in 1982. Coco was bold, driven, and desperate for stardom, a reflection of Erica's own early ambitions. After leaving Fame, she pursued a career in both music and acting, but found the industry cold to women of color with her outspoken nature. Erica never married, but had a long and turbulent relationship with jazz musician Darryl King, which ended after the tragic stillbirth of their only child in 1994. She later adopted a daughter, Amaya, in 2003, whom she raised as a single mother. Despite critical acclaim for a few stage performances, she remained largely out of the spotlight, supplementing her income by teaching yoga and voice at a community arts center in New York. Now 61, she lives a quiet life in Harlem, financially stable but far from wealthy, with a net worth estimated at $50,000. Gimple continues to sing at local jazz clubs and writes poetry reflecting on the duality of fame, its promises of light, and the shadows it so often casts. Michael DeLorenzo, who portrayed the talented and fiercely expressive dancer Michael in Fame, was 23 years old in 1982. His character was known for his quiet determination and emotional depth on the dance floor. After Fame, Michael experienced fleeting success in the 1990s with roles in series like New York Undercover, but his career faltered due to typecasting and a reluctance from networks to cast Latino leads. He married stage actress Marissa Vega in 1996, and they had 2 daughters, Lucia and Paloma, but the marriage ended bitterly in 2008, plagued by infidelity rumors and professional jealousy. Michael struggled with depression and financial hardship after a failed attempt to direct an independent film in 2011 left him in debt. He briefly lived out of his car before relocating to a modest apartment in Queens. Now 64, he teaches acting workshops and occasionally performs in local theater, barely sustaining himself with a net worth of approximately $40,000. DeLorenzo, once hailed as a rising star, now finds solace in mentoring young artists, even as he privately mourns the missed opportunities of his own career. Lee Carreri, who played the introverted musical prodigy Bruno Martelli, was 21 years old in 1982. His portrayal of a shy, brilliant keyboardist struggling to express himself emotionally through music resonated deeply with fans. Post-fame, Lee attempted a solo music career, releasing an album that went unnoticed, sending him into a tailspin of creative frustration. He married vocal coach Angela D'Angelo in 1988, and they had a son named Matteo, but the couple divorced in 2002 after years of financial stress and Lee's increasing detachment from family life. Battling anxiety and reclusiveness, Lee retreated from the spotlight entirely by 2010. He now lives alone in a small rented home in the San Fernando Valley, subsisting on royalties and occasional music gigs. At 64, he spends most of his time composing ambient pieces that are rarely heard by the public. With an estimated net worth of just $25,000, Carreri's life is a stark contrast to the promise of his early years. A man once destined for stardom now living in quiet solitude among faded memories and unfinished compositions. Nia Peoples, who portrayed Nicole Chapman, a passionate and gifted singer-dancer, joined Fame at 22 in 1983. Nicole's character was confident, disciplined, and often served as a role model for the other students, reflecting Nia's own drive. After Fame, she gained brief prominence in shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, but her stardom waned as she struggled to break away from typecast roles. Nia married 4 times, most notably to singer Howard Hewitt and later to filmmaker Laurent Chartrand, with each relationship ending in painful divorce. She had 2 children, Christopher from her marriage with Hewitt and Sienna from her 3rd marriage. Constant upheavals in love and career drained her emotionally and financially. Her Malibu home was foreclosed in 2015, forcing her to relocate to a modest house in California's high desert. Now 61, Nia works sporadically in regional theater and as a life coach, drawing from her personal hardships. Her current net worth is estimated at just $75,000. Though she maintains a graceful public persona, those close to her say she privately wrestles with regret over a career and personal life that never fulfilled the promises of her youth. Cynthia Gibb, who played the ambitious and warm-hearted Holly Laird, was just 19 years old in 1983. Her character was known for her emotional vulnerability and tenacity, qualities Cynthia also exhibited in her career. After Fame, she enjoyed moderate success in made-for-TV movies and stage performances, but never reached mainstream acclaim. She married Broadway actor Benjamin Clark in 1994, and they had 3 children, twins Isla and Fiona, and son Jonah. The marriage ended in 2010 after years of financial disputes and emotional distance. Cynthia later revealed she suffered from chronic fatigue syndrome, which severely limited her work opportunities in her 40s. Now 61, she lives quietly in Vermont, teaching acting to local students and working on a memoir she hopes to self-publish. She lives paycheck to paycheck, relying on a small inheritance and teaching income, with an estimated net worth under $50,000. Despite her challenges, she's remembered fondly by Fame fans for her optimism, a trait she clings to, even as her own dreams have dimmed with time. Who is your favorite character from Fame? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.